One thing that I found really hard to navigate is when you have a lot of ideas as an entrepreneur, it can be really hard to track those. You have them fly by night while you're taking a shower or while you're laying in bed or while you get up to get another cup of coffee, and sometimes you lose it before you sit back down at your desk. So if you can gravitate towards start using some kind of project management system, you can quickly note those things down from your phone, which you probably already always have on you at all times anyway. And that means that you lose less of these ideas. And that also means you can come back later, reevaluate, is that actually a good idea? Do I actually need to do that thing, or do I need to file that away for the future? So if you're using something, I think that's a good idea. My favorite thing to use is Notion. So that's what I'm going to show you today. And specifically, I want to help you build a database or a wiki of all of the content ideas that you can use to market your service, your product, your website, whatever. And I'm actually going to show you step by step how to build a very basic system so that you can manage all of the ideas, the statuses for all of those ideas, images, content, like a place to type out your notes for that particular post, the transcript, whatever you need to do. I'm going to show you how to do all of that today in Notion. And if I can do it in 30 minutes or less as a long-winded person, this shouldn't take you very much time, so just follow along the video. If you haven't created a Notion account yet, you don't have one, you can create a free account with my affiliate link below in the description, and then you can follow along with the video. If you already have one, congratulations, you're in the Notion squad. Happy you're here. So before I dive in any further, if we haven't met before, my name is Caitlin. I run Launch the Damn Thing. I'm a Squarespace designer and educator, but also I love project management. And for that, I love Notion specifically for light task management, databases and wikis and note taking. And that's why we're focusing on that today. So let's take a look inside the template and I'll show you how to do that step by step. This is what I want to build with you and show you step by step how I produced each part of it. But first, you're going to need to create a new page. So in your private area of your Notion account, click the plus sign, create a new page, call it whatever you want, and then click underneath that. You'll want to set it as full width. So if we're calling it like content calendar, you can give it an icon, a cover image, and then just click down here to get started. From here on out, I'm going to do this in the other page, but I just wanted to show you the basics of how to get the page started. After you've created it in your sidebar here, you can drag this into any of these other pages. You can drag to reorder it. You can put it wherever you want. You can even click the ellipsis here and move it to a location that you can't even see in here if you know exactly what you're looking for. So it can live anywhere. For now, we're going to delete that copy and we're going to go back to this page because I want to be able to see what I'm building so that you can see the goal, the design goal or the structure goal that we're aiming for as we build. The first part up here in the top left, if that's annoying to you, you don't have to do this, but I think it's fun sometimes to add GIFs or stickers. If you want to pick one, I just go to jiffy.com/stickers and pick a sticker. You literally grab the code or the link and paste it here as an embed. So for this, I could replace it with a different sticker if I wanted to, or an actual GIF that doesn't have a transparent background. That would work too. And then I just have two columns here. So what I did was, let me just start here at the top, 2 columns, and now I have one column over here, and then I have one column over here. And then here I would just do the embed and I would have the link. So I can grab that, copy link to original, paste it here, and it's going to grab it from Jiffy. And then you can see this little line over here on the right. If you click that, you can drag it down and make it smaller to resize it. To put the caption underneath, if you care about that, you can just hover over the image. Depending on how big it is, it'll have it right here as an icon. Or if it's small enough, you'll have to get it from the ellipsis menu here for caption. So that's how I did that. In the second column, I added a toggle, /toggle. You can have toggles that are just text or toggles that have larger headings attached to them. So you can pick whichever one is most relevant for you. And then once you have one here, it will make this gray if there's no content inside, and it will be black if there is. For me, I typed in some text, I pasted in a Loom video link that walks through the whole bit, and I'm just going to close the toggle to hide that content for people who use this template. I won't preface this by saying this template is available for free inside the club, already pre-built for you, but I'm just showing you how I did that. So you can access it if you're in the all access member area of the club. If not, you can just follow along with me and build it yourself. So underneath that, we are adding a call out. So let's just get rid of that here. We'll do a call out. By default, it's going to use the same style that I used before. But if you click this 6-dot icon here, you can access their colors. So if you wanted it to be white with a light gray outline, you could do that. So that looks something like that. Or if you want it to look like an actual sticky note, you can pick a sticky note like color. You can choose an icon here, so you can use an emoji. If you click on icons, you can choose the color first. So in this case, I chose yellow, and then I looked for a notification and icon, but you could also do like any of these that might work, like draft, pencil, those kinds of icons. You can also upload your own if you have one. From here, where it says type something, this part is going to be sort of the title of the notepad. And so I just typed notepad and then I pressed enter. By default, it's going to take you out of the call out, but if you select the 6-dot icon, click and drag up here, you can put it wherever you want, much like Squarespace. So if I put that paragraph back up into the call out, now I have more area to type. So the quick key command for a divider is dash, 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 and it will automatically add it. But if you can't remember that, you can always use the backslash thing for commands, and you can filter down to the divider just by starting to type divider, or you can scroll through the list and pick a divider. You can't change the color of the divider though, so just be forewarned. To change the color of the text, you can just highlight it, you can make it bold, and you can choose a color. In this case, I chose orange. And then all I did to create that extra space is just to press enter a couple of times. Since this extra paragraph already lives in there, it's going to keep adding space or height to this call out block until forever, right? So the only way to get out of it at that point is to click beneath it or to click this plus sign out next to it to start something new underneath it. Okay, so now we have the sticker, we have the toggle, we have the notepad. You can also turn this into a synced block if you want to, and that would actually, once it is a synced block, you could actually select it this way by clicking that 6-dot icon and copying it, pressing Command-C or Control-C on your keyboard and pasting it somewhere else. And that would actually allow you to type whatever notes you need to type in here, just quick thoughts, whatever, and then also show up in another place without, like, it syncs. It literally stays in sync with each other, whether or not you edit it on either end. So just good to know. Underneath that, we have a table. So to create that, we're going to do a database inline. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to click that. Now we have to name it something. So content calendar. I'm going to call it demo because I think that's slightly different than the title for this table up here. Once I've named it, I'm going to hide it because I don't want to look at it for the purposes of this tutorial. Now I'm going to click on this and rename that table. So if we come over here on the right side, we're going to name it posts to do. And we're going to keep it in a table layout for now. So now we have a table. We have two columns inside the table. We need this name function is always going to be like the header column. You can't ever hide it or get rid of it. So you might as well use it to your advantage. So let's just rename that post name. And then we're going to use this because it's already selected or created. We're going to make that, let's keep it multi-select. And we're going to name that categories. So topic categories, and on sort we're going to change it to alphabetical so that if you have Squarespace tips and business tips, it's going to put business tips above so that you can find them easily in the list. You can also go ahead and add your options here if you want to. I could go ahead and do business Squarespace. We'll just do those two for now. Okay, so now we have post name and categories, and then we need a date field. So we're going to do date field and we're going to call it publish date. We're going to do full date, but you could change it to month, day, year, month, year, month, day, or relative. Relative will actually do like next Friday instead of the actual date for next Friday. So that is a relative date and relative to whatever you are looking at it. And then past a certain point, it actually does display the actual date. Okay, so that's an option. You can also change it from no time displayed in the date field, date picker, or 12-hour or 24-hour, depending on what you prefer. But we're going to leave that for now. And then instead of adding another date field for the due date, we're going to duplicate this property because it's basically the same thing and just call it due date. And it gets the same settings. Then we're going to add a text field for the notes, and we're going to call it notes. We're going to wrap that text in view, although you can turn that off and it will just truncate. And then we need one more status. And for this one, I think I have, let's see, to do, in progress. So now we have all the fields that we need. I'm going to drag this one over. Fun fact about the status property, you can actually choose to show this as a dropdown, kind of like a label, or as a checkbox. If you hover over it, it tells you what status it actually is, but it's sort of like checked is done, unchecked is not done, and then the dash is anything in between. And if you press Option or I guess Alt on your keyboard, that's what gives you the pop-up for selecting specific statuses. So if you prefer to have just a checkbox for marking things done, you can do that also with the status field. But I'm going to put it back on select because I like the fun colors. So we're going to have this first column for the status, the second column for the post name, then we have categories, then we have a publish date and a due date and notes, and I'm going to drag this to expand that section just a little bit. So we also have post URL, so let's do that. The URL field, and I am not going to turn on the show full URL option, and I'm not going to have it wrap because I don't want it to take up a ton of space. Okay, now we have everything. So that's the first table. Let's give us a couple of fake post titles. I'm just going to recreate what I have up here because I don't want to think on the fly. So let's just make that a little bit wider. And we're going to do Squarespace for that one. Let's do the 24th for this one. And the 31st for that one. Now here's the cool thing. You don't have to do it that way. You can actually see this stuff in a calendar view. So let's go ahead and create that next. We want to do a new view calendar, and we're going to show that by month, but you can also show it by week if that's helpful for you. I'm going to leave it on month because that's more effective for this particular use case, I think. You can choose to show or hide weekends if you want, and you can also show or hide the page icon. So if you choose to show it and you put content on the inside and you don't give it an icon, like a custom icon, it will show that kind of blank page thing, which looks like this little thing over here. So if I need to go back to the settings for this particular view of the table, I click on the three-dot icon, select layout, and now I have those settings again. So this will open the pages in center peak. It's going to show the calendar by publish date. You can also choose to do this by any date field in the table, in which case the only other option is due date. That would be the date that you need to do it by. I'm going to leave it on publish date for now. So the only other properties that I might want to see in this view are maybe the due date and the status. If it doesn't have a due date, it's just going to give you space for that once it fills in, but it's going to be blank for the time being. So you're probably wondering, what about the ones that don't have a date? They don't show up here, right? The quick and easy answer to that is that you use this no date button up here, which is really minimal and probably not something you'd typically notice. The ones that don't have a date will be displayed here, and you don't have to click open to actually open them and give them a date. You can just click and drag them onto the calendar. So if you just drag these down, and if you expand this into a full page, you can actually see a long scrolling view of all the months right up next to each other. So it makes it really easy to plan out your content. So if I have content planned for the 24th and the 31st, and I want to do another one here and another one there and another one there, what it's actually doing when I drag those onto the calendar is assigning a publish date to those things without actually having to open the calendar picker and choose one. So it's doing the same thing, but faster. Okay, so let's go back. There we go. Now we're in this view again. So we have all dates assigned. Notice if I pull this back up, the last three now have dates filled in for us. So that's great. They're not necessarily in order, but that's okay. So if I want to sort them, I click on the arrows and I choose publish date, and now it's going to put them in calendar order ascending. You can also choose descending if you prefer. In this case, I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to save it for everybody, which doesn't matter for me because nobody else is going to be looking at this particular page. So that fills in our status, our post name, the categories, the publish date. We've created the calendar. Let's double check to make sure we have the same thing. Oh, I did turn on the URL too. So let's go back, turn on the properties for URL. Now we can see when we give that post a URL, for example, when it publishes, we can grab the full URL of that post that's shareable, paste it in that field here, and it will show up on the calendar here as well. Okay, so let's go back to the table view, and on the post to do, I'm going to duplicate that. This one I'm going to call board by status, and under layout, we're going to change it to board. So this is going to get us closer to this view right here. So if I click the ellipsis, go back into the settings here, we want to make sure the title is hidden because it's a little cleaner to look at that way. Card preview, none, but if you wanted, you could change that to the page cover or the page content if you want to. I think it's cleaner to look at it without it. You can change the card size. I think we have it on large. And then let's see. Wrap all properties, no. Group by status is correct. You can group it by other things though if you prefer, but I'm just going to leave it on that. I'm going to turn on color columns because I do want to do that. And we're going to open pages in side peek and show page icon. Sure, why not? Okay, so now we're going to go into the group settings and we're going to turn off the toggle to hide empty groups. That way we can see a column for all statuses. And actually, this database is a little bit less wide all the way across the screen than the first one. So in order to show the whole thing, I'm going to change it to medium-sized cards. So now we can see empty statuses, and all you have to do is drag the cards between columns just like you would in Trello or Asana's board system. It works or ClickUp's board system, pretty much anything. This all kind of works the same way. Now you have the basic column system. One thing that I did not do is have this calculate a count all. So it's going to tell me how many posts I have in the table. Okay, so now we have board by status and calendar, and now all we need is completed posts. So let's look at what we're doing here. We're sorting that by published date, and we are filtering it based on a status. So that means we have it sorted by published date already, so we don't have to do that. But if we want to filter it by status, we click the filter icon, we select status, and you can choose to select all complete statuses, or you can just select the done status if you want to leave scheduled in the other view. But basically, this is going to filter all of the items that it's going to show in this table, only the ones that have that status, anything that's in the complete. So anything that you add to the status property that is in the complete section is going to show up in this view of the table. So if we filter it that way, we want to duplicate that because it has the right filter. We're going to call it completed posts. And then this one, we want to change the filter on the post to do because we don't want it to show complete here where we don't have anything that's complete. So you want to uncheck that, and we want to mark to do and in progress so that it's going to show all of the posts that are in any of these statuses instead. So we're going to save that for everyone. And if I mark, for example, this one as done, it's going to disappear from this view, but it's going to show up in this view. So that's how you can sort of archive them, but keep them around. Now, on the plus side for this, each of these in the table have their own page. So if you click open, for example, on some of these, it opens that content and you can put whatever you want to on the inside of this entry in the database. And that means that you can, and I recommend that you should, write your post or outline or paste in your transcript from your video, whatever, inside this post. Because if you're tracking your content inside this table that you're building, inside this tracker, this means that you have a backup here. And for things like blog posts, if you write them here, here and then copy and paste it when you're done into your website, you have 2 copies. You have one here, you also have one on your website, and this acts as a backup just in case the most awful thing happens and the website goes dark or you accidentally delete or override a post, which I have totally done by accident. So it's always good to have a backup of what the content actually was. And one thing that I like to do while I'm adding content in here is as I'm typing sentences, let's pretend that's what that is. As I need to insert an image or a graphic or a video or something, I can add a call out block and say insert image of spreadsheet example here, and then keep on writing. That way I know exactly in the post where I need to put my images, my embedded audio from a podcast, whatever it is, I can put them all in here. And then of course, if you have that setting on, let me get out of this. If you have this setting on to show page icon, when you have content on the inside of that entry, you're going to see an icon here. If you assign it a custom icon through any of these 3 tabs, let's just do this one for now, you're going to have a fun icon. It's not necessarily going to tell you that there's content inside, but if you're doing that for all of them, then you can just assume that it does. So I'm going to turn this off actually. Move. Okay, so now we know how to manage the content. We know how to set the status. We know how to set the date. We know how to plan ahead in our calendar. And we know how to get rid of or archive the completed ones. On any of these views too, like if you don't need to see your notes anymore in this view, you can click on the column and hide in view. That doesn't delete it. It just in this view means that doesn't exist. So for example, you don't need the due date anymore in the completed view because you've already done it. So you can hide that. Now you can also hide whatever else you want. You can also add properties that are only displayed in this view. So you have a lot of customizability here. Okay, so let's delete that for the time being. The last one is a second sticker. You can do that with the same process as before. So to add the little sticker, I just basically copied this, pasted it down here. It is going to be center aligned, I think, by default, but you can choose right and then it'll show up on the right. You don't need columns in order to put it there. And then to change it out, you just need to click the 6-dot icon and then replace. And you just need to have the link ready. Or you can search Jiffy. But when you search Jiffy through here, you get fewer results and you get a mix of stickers that have no background color and full image, boxes basically. So you have a little less control that way. Now you have built your own content calendar template. You can give it an icon if you haven't already. You can add a cover if you haven't already. And if you want to be able to share this with other people, like maybe a VA, but not let them edit, a quick and easy way to do that would be to go up to share and then publish, and then just turn off the duplicate as template because that's going to be on by default, and grab this link right here. That is the public view. And if you click view site, you're going to be able to see what you built. They'll be able to click on everything. They'll be able to open everything, but they won't be able to edit anything. So I hope that was helpful for you. Now you have a place where you can plan all the content that's going to market your service or your product or your website or whatever it is, and you don't have to pay for it. Notion can be free. If you don't have a Notion account yet, you can use my affiliate link to create your free account with the link below. And yeah, I'm super excited that you're diving into Notion, that you're interested. I love Notion. I've literally been using it for years. I know that it's a hot topic now, but I have literally been using it since like 2020. So I love it. I hope you love it too. And I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. If you loved this tutorial, leave a comment below and let me know that you are building this with me. And I can't wait to see what you do with it. If you want more on Notion, also let me know in the comments because I could do more stuff like this in the future. And I have a few templates on my website that are Notion templates, like a client portal template, content guides for your website if you don't know what to put on the pages. Those are included in the client portal, but they're also separate for people that don't need the whole client portal system and just need to know what to put on their website. So I have quite a few things over there that you can go check out if you're interested. And until next time, I think that's all I have for you in this video. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.